My parents, Robert Cordy Vivian is my father, and my mother was Elizabeth Uzetta. They lived on a farm too, right? And but they didn't own their farm. You see what I mean? Is they were trying to buy it, right? When they broke up, the Depression stopped all that because there wasn't any money. When they broke up, is that then my grandmother and my mother moved into the house in town. You see, if you had any reasonable amount of money, well then you had farms. What you had was also a house in town that you came in and lived in during the winter. See what I mean? Right? Is because that's how you got social life and everything.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
So that we had the house in town, came in, moved in on Water Street in Boonville, Missouri. Right? And by the way, the property ran back to the railroad tracks, which was way back because it was right down a hill, right? Way down the hill, right? And then the railroad tracks, and it was right beside the Missouri-Mississippi River. And my grandmother and I used to sit in upstairs window, right? And that's how she taught me to count, because as you could see the light from the water behind as it shot through as the cars moved, you see, and so you could count off the cars. See, and so that's how I learned. That's how I learned to count. And of course, each train had 100 to 200 cars, just according to what it was. And so that's how I learned to count. Is that, it was on Water Street that we but how the house. How we lost that house is quite different. It was arson.
Arson?
Yeah. What happened was, remember, most families during that period, or many families, white, black, yellow, pink, polka dot, right, were, what's the term? But they were not married. They came together.
Common law?
A common law.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's the term I really wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Common law marriages. Well, there was a common law marriage down the street. And this man beat this woman. And she left out into the cold. And my grandmother knew her as a very nice person. Didn't really know her, but knew her as a very nice person. And knew that she didn't deserve that, and she certainly didn't deserve wandering around out in the cold, a woman, and it was a little more difficult in those days even than now, right? And so she took her in. Her common law husband, right, was so angry he burned our house down. He came in the middle of the night. In those days, you had coal, actually coal. Some people don't know what cinders are anymore, right? But you had actual coal in the basement, and you had firewood that you used to start the fire in the stove, right? And so he started a fire down there, right? And it was right under my bedroom, by the way.
Were you at home at the time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were all at home at that time, right?
That must have been a terrifying experience.
Well, I tell you what, is that it's funny that you put it that way. When in the middle of the night, it was actually early in the morning, it was very early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 or 5, whatever it was, is that I heard somebody screaming my name. And so I get up and out of the bed, and I jump up and I go to the doorway, and I could see that the front door was open. And I was looking straight out at it, and for some reason, I laughed and went back and jumped in bed. Huh? See, I'm 5 years old, right? I went back and jumped in bed, and it was funny. And then I heard my grandmother hollering my name again, and it wasn't funny. Something in the sound told me this was serious. I got out of that bed, I ran through the house and ran out the front door, and because when I looked out that time, it just was, something was wrong. And I think what was really wrong was smoke. I think there was, you know, it's just a funny feeling to the. I can still sort of see things, right? I couldn't say it was smoke, but I mean, it was like it was never before. And it was kind of not hard to see through, but something was clouding the lookout. And I took out there and ran down the steps, and my grandmother was out in the middle of the street hollering my name. The fireman wouldn't let her get too close.